Natsu and IGNIA square off for what is going to potentially be the final time. Erza is in a desperate struggle against Mother Glare, and Wendy finally manages to unleash the mass Dragon Slayer enchantment. So, needless to say, this is actually another pretty hype chapter, and the way this chapter ends is something that I have many questions over, while I'm also incredibly excited for what comes next, as now things are finally gonna be fully in the favor of Team Fairy Tail against the Calamity Bloods if their names aren't Natsu. So, we got a lot to talk about today. But before we do anything, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And also, Fairy Tail ReFantasia, the 20th anniversary short-term manga series by Hiro Mashima, is currently running every single week, and I am covering it every single week. And Loxus is the main character. So if you want to check out Fairy Tail ReFantasia, go and give it a read, and go check out my breakdowns as well in the title card up above. It is very much appreciated, and it is already a lot of fun. So you'll get double Fairy Tail for a couple of weeks, so that is very exciting. But let's just jump right into 100 Years Quest. Chapter 217 of 100 Years Quest, titled Verger Envelops the World. And we have Sky Verger Dragon Wendy in the cover, and this is genuinely beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, I really love Wendy's new form. She's pretty much 100% a nature goddess at this point, and I said this in the last chapter review, but I absolutely love this new form. It fits Wendy perfectly with a healing and nurturing personality, and the fact that, you know, the sky and wind, it breathes life into things. Add that in with nature, it just genuinely fits the character so well, and I'm very happy that she has this, and hopefully this is permanent. But anyway, the chapter begins where we last left off, with Natsu breaking into the center of the sun where IGNIA created it. Natsu begins to walk towards IGNIA as IGNIA says, "Man, you never learn, kid, huh? Look, I got no interest in you anymore." But then Natsu is just like 100% not playing around anymore as he goes right into True Fire Dragon King mode in an instant. And you know not too serious when he goes in for a transformation right away. Now look, IGNIA is still unimpressed, because he's like, "You can't beat me with that power. Did you forget that I one-shot you before?" But then, Natsu's flaming scarf begins to scale up, and the markings on Natsu's eyes begin to change, as this is something that I actually saw on Twitter. The black markings on Natsu's face on his eye resembles the sun formation tattoo on IGNIA. And the flames continuously engulf out of Natsu's eyes, and IGNIA realizes what just happened. Natsu was eating the flames of IGNIA's sun on his way here. And after he says this, Natsu gets serious and charges right at IGNIA, who then blocks Natsu's flaming fist in a double-page spread. Now this looks sick. This is probably going to be the thumbnail, I'm not going to lie. But IGNIA and Natsu clash, as Natsu finally manages to burn IGNIA. And Natsu, furious, says he'll eat any fire out there, even if it burns his own lungs. Now this feels like the true complete form of Natsu's True Dragon King mode, with the scaled up scarf, which is still on fire, mind you. It's just now solid fire. And the left eye markings going down his left eye that resemble the sun on IGNIA's chest in that pattern. So yeah, also the fact that his left eye is just radiating energy right out. Sick as hell. And this does feel like a natural evolution of this form. So I am very much impressed with what we're getting right now. Now we're going to cut away from this fight for a little bit most likely, but a pretty hype way to start things off for what is assumedly the final confrontation of the arc and potentially the series. Because my god, if this keeps going on after IGNIA is defeated, I feel like Mashima is going to drag this even more than it felt being dragged on with some of Ferris's demons being brought into the mix, but I digress. The fated battle between brothers Fairy Tail Edition is about to begin, but we cut back to Erza as she is slashing through all of Mother Glare's children, as Mother Glare forces them to attack Erza. Erza keeps slashing through them, and some of them even get a few quick hits in on her, as she's trying to figure out a way to make it up and deal damage to Mother Glare directly. And as she is trying to break free from all these different, mini dragons that Mother Glare keeps spawning, Erza comes up with the idea to re-equip outside of her Dragon Slayer armor that dealt actual real damage to Mother Glare in her more humanoid form, and he actually did something, and she goes into her Heaven's Wheel, one of her trademark armors. And now this I actually find kind of smart. She rearranges her swords in a way where she just steps on them so that she can get some air and evade all of the mini dragons and get straight up to Mother Glare's head. As she then tries to stab Mother Glare with a regular ass sword, and it snaps immediately, to Erza's shock for some reason, as I don't know what she'd expected. But Mother Glare just says, "Look, blades are useless against me, kid. There's nothing else to it." This is like a thing where I believe that Mashima is forgetting some stuff. Like, genuinely, Erza is smart enough to know that her normal ass blades aren't going to do anything to a dragon. She could have just re-equipped back into Dragon Slayer armor the second she went to make contact, because we saw many chapters ago that her Dragon Slayer armor dealt actual damage to Mother Glare. Yes, it was human form, but even though she was in her human form, she was still technically a dragon. So there wasn't really much she could do with anything outside of a armor and weapon made from dragon scales and enchanted with Dragon Slayer magic. Like, genuinely, I feel like Basho was just doing this just to get to the next point of this chapter, because Erza genuinely has a really good kit and re-equips so quick that she would be at a pretty decent advantage to go from Heaven's Wheel, manage to make a path for herself go up, and then slash at Mother Glare from the top and deal some damage. Unfortunately, we had to get to this next point of the chapter because I feel like we want to get a big moment where everybody gets helped by Wendy. And while I do appreciate it, I feel like Erza is smart enough to know that a regular ass sword isn't going to do anything against a fucking dragon. But in all honesty, that's the only part of the chapter I do not really like or mess with, because I just feel like Natsu just coming up with stuff just to seed extra drama and everything. But that aside, the chapter continues back with Wendy in the field of flowers that have grown from her transformation in just sheer radiance of magic power. And Wendy then places her hands on the ground and searches through Alderon's core and reaches herself out through all of the roots, going throughout the continent, granting Dragon Slayer magic to all of her friends and allies. As she enchants the entirety of the land and calls the spell All Slayers. And with a massive beam of light erupting from the center of Alderon's core, we see that Wendy's great spell begins to activate, with Carla in awe at the fact that Wendy's magic is just like Irene's, and calls Wendy a high enchanter. So this was already confirmed a while ago, primarily by Celine. But yeah, Wendy is a high enchanter now, 100%, and this form just amps her up to such a high degree with all the extra magical energy that she now has. It is sick as hell, and I am so glad that Wendy has reached that level of power and proficiency with her enchantments. And in an instant, all across the battlefield, everybody gets a Dragon Slayer enchantment. And you can tell also because, with a nice fine detail, Gray's fairy tale mark on his chest now has the Dragon Slayer marking on it. It has the more dragonic affliction to it, so we know he has Dragon Slayer magic. Gray, Juvia, Lucy, who probably should technically have dragon magic, but I guess it's not dragon magic even though she has two dragon gods dwelling within her, but it is what it is. Mira, Elfman, Angel, and now Erza are surging with Dragon Slayer magic. And Erza immediately realizes what's going on, and as the tip of her blade that broke off falls down, she grabs it and in a double-page spread, stabs into Mother Glare's head. And I love this little sequence in this spread, where as Mother Glare reels in pain from being stabbed in the forehead by Erza's now Dragon Slayer enchanted sword, we also see Erza's fairy tale mark with the Dragon Slayer marking on it. And I believe it is a slight alteration to potentially show that this is a stronger Dragon Slayer enchantment than the previous one. And Erza instantly knows that this is Wendy. While I have an issue with how Erza handled things earlier on in her fight with Mother Glare in this chapter, How it came out of it, I do kind of like, because the tip of the sword that broke off falls down. Erza feels the surge of Dragon Slayer magic coursing through her, grabs a sword, and knows instantly to stab Mother Glare with it. And honestly, that is a sick moment. I'm not gonna lie, that's sick as hell, and I really do like that. It is still a problem with how we got to this point with Erza, but other than that, it's still pretty fun and cool. And Erza dealt the first real blow to Mother Glare in her dragon form, as she is writhing in pain from being stabbed in the forehead. So yeah, it is sick as hell. And after using that massive enchantment on the whole continent, Wendy used up all of her magic, and now she leaves the rest to the others, and effectively passes out. And that's how the chapter ends, except... Hold on. Alderaan is still alive? What the fuck? Yeah, the chapter ends with the last 3 panels at the bottom of the page with a tiny Alderaan that looks like something that you would find at a thrift store, giving a thumbs up to Wendy, and Carla is just in utter shock to see Alderaan there. Like, dude, last chapter you effectively evaporated into nothing, basically giving all the power you had left. Are you telling me you were bluffing and said you had enough to give yourself this tiny little stick figure doll shape? Alderaan is truly the cockroach of the dragon gods. He was killed, giving up his own magic multiple times, and he still persists. I do admire that, but at the same time, Mashima, he's a villain, not a hero. Let him die. My god, I really hope this doesn't mean that Alderaan is now fucking redeemed. He had such a good end in the last chapter. I pray to God that this is just a bit, and then they're going to be like, okay, we're going to have to deal with Alderaan eventually. But for right now, he's harmless. Like, genuinely, I feel like that's the route we're going to go with. But, like, why couldn't he just stay f***ing dead? Did Mashima really want to add in a bit at the end of the chapter so badly? Ugh. Oh, man. But other than that, this chapter was really fun. I love the instance of Natsu being revealed to have eaten the sun's fire on his way to IGNIA at the center of the sun. That is smart. That is genuinely smart. With Natsu realizing that, yeah, he does have the full strength of IGNIA's flames, but he needs more. And since he's going through a literal ball of fire, he was eating the fire as he was emerging through. And by the time he made it to the center, he basically digested it, went into True Dragon King mode, and then he got the marking of the sun, like IGNIA, but this time on his eye, and energy is spiking from his left eye. His scarf scales back up, this time in more solid fire, and he's able to burn IGNIA, if not slightly. Now, Natsu does say that the flames most likely burned him a bit as he ate them, but Natsu has reached a level of power where he can eat a flame that at that point was most likely of a higher order than him, and even digest it, as well as just fully make it his own. Like, Natsu now, with eating IGNIA's flames, and this is a big thing because Natsu lost control when he first ate IGNIA's flames after using it for a little bit. This feels like Natsu is finally able to eat stronger flames and can eat IGNIA's flames. And these are stronger flames of IGNIA's than during the beginning of Hunter's Quest, and not lose control seemingly, so I am very much happy with that. But we have to wait and see how this fight turns out, though. We also got some really cool stuff with Erza. While I do have an issue where we got to the point of Erza having to stab Mother Glare in the head, I still find it as a sick moment where Erza realizes that she's getting a dragon amp, grabs her falling sword tip, and just stabs Mother Glare. That is tough as hell. That is really damn cool. While I don't like the journey in that section of the chapter with Erza, with how he got there, with how she just forgot that her normal-ass sword can't hurt a dragon, how it came off is still pretty cool and badass. And now, everybody has Dragon Slayer enchantments, so they can actually fight the dragon. So I'm curious to see how things are going to pan out. I do hope within the following chapters, we actually see Mira, Angel, and Elfman fight Scissor Runner, because that has been literally off screen. We have not seen them fight whatsoever. And we still got to cut back with Loxus and having his soul literally removed from his body. So that is something that we have to reestablish. And I feel like Mashima is going to have to cut back to Loxus for a bit, especially with the fact that we have a literal anniversary manga for Fairy Tail where Loxus is the main character. And I feel like that'd be really, really good synergy to have some Loxus chapters in Hunter's Quest sync up release-wise with the new Fairy Tail Refantasia manga where he is the main character. Like, it just feels like really good marketing, and, you know, has good synergy. That'd be really damn cool. I already said my piece on Alderaan being revealed to be alive the next chapter, which sucks. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not too surprised, I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below on what you thought of this chapter and what you think is gonna happen next. Which fight do you think we're gonna see next? I pray it's Mira or Lox's fight, and before we cut back to Lucy and Erza's, because we definitely have had enough of those for a while, so I cannot wait to see those coming up. And how do you feel about Natsu now actually being able to harm IGNIA now that he ate his flames? That is actually pretty damn smart. It was not a waste of time through the journey to get to the center of the sun. So I'm hyped for that one. Let me know everything in the comments below, and once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And once again, check out my Fairy Tail Refantasia reviews as I'm covering that 9-chapter manga as the chapters are releasing. So that's going to be a really good time. And if you want to support the channel more directly, go and check out my Patreon, link in the description below. By the time this video comes out, there should be a Ichi the Witch massive review of the last couple of chapters of Ichi the Witch on my Patreon, where I'm going to be doing monthly Ichi the Witch chapter breakdowns every single month to not only give you guys some Patreon exclusive content where the Shueisha copyright strike BS won't hurt me, so I can talk about Ichi the Witch as much as I want over there every single month, and all proceeds from there end up going right back into the channel for more chapter reviews and manga recommendations and Fairy Tail Explained and theories, etc., etc. And first tier and above members will get access to my Patreon Discord server as well, where you guys can chat and talk it up as well and interact with me every now and again, so you will end up having a good time. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.